Welcome to the podcast, everybody. The weekly roundup. I am your host, definitely still Wild Fang, and I'm blinded by Mr. Darkwave as usual. How are you guys today?
Guys, there's only one of me.
Shut up. Today is not going to be a super long one, and we're not talking about games today because nothing happened in the last couple of weeks.
What you
No,
mean, man?
something's going to happen tomorrow. That's the Game Awards, right?
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something's gonna happen tomorrow. So next week, yeah, we will have our regularly scheduled program of talking about both games and the wrestling world because we're weird. Um, but for today, we're just gonna talk about some wrestling stuff. And the wrestling world has been weird in the last couple of days, and up to and including war games in and of itself. Mr. Darkwave, how did you feel about war games in and of itself?
I'm going to chant or channel my inner Tony Khan. I'm sitting at Gorilla. Who gives a shit? It was a show that happened, man. It was a show that happened.
Yeah. In fact, oh wait, no, you weren't. We didn't have the gent with I did his Crown Jewel solo. Even going back to Crown Jewel, how did you feel about Crown Jewel?
You think I remember Crown Jewel, sir?
No, nobody
I
should
remember
remember
one
Crown Jewel.
match.
Which one?
Seth and Drew. And I barely remember that.
That was the only match.
Because you know me, man. I don't watch Roman Reigns matches, man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Roman lost the match.
I wish. I mean, we have a new champion.
Yeah.
I don't watch Roman matches.
Yeah. But yes, I'm gonna say War Games did have some matches on there, like mainly the war women's war game match, which I'm glad they started the pay-per-view off with. It would have been real stupid if they ended it. You said what?
Which Damage Control lost again because they're worthless and they're trying to build it for sure.
At this point, what is the purpose of Damage Control if they're going to keep losing every match or every major match that they're in?
To make Bailey a babyface.
Oh, okay. Bailey's going to be a babyface again. They could have did something way better than have Damage Control consistently lose.
Over here. Yeah, that's what they do.
This is one of.
They lost last year. I mean, this year, I can understand it because they're trying to tell the story of Bailey being basically eventually going to get the boot, Das Boot.
Yeah, it's fine.
Outside of that, I mean, why are we losing to a team, a group of nobodies?
They lost to Becky Lynch, Shotzi, Charlotte, and Beck, and Bianca Belair.
I mean, just Shotzi of all fucking people. Like, come on, man.
I mean, yeah, Shotzi did come out of nowhere, and she has been beefing with Damage Control for some reason. But yeah.
I mean, they cut her hair, but
no, she got her own hair.
No, I mean they cut her hair and then she actually took the rest and cut it for her sister stuff. But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the solidarity with her sister who had cancer, which is fine. You know, that's pretty fine. I'm like, yeah, that means she's a good sister, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, the match was okay. But they kept doing the will Charlotte and Becky get along thing, and that lasted.
Can they coexist? When they haven't been on the same brand in like 4 years, but okay, sure.
Yeah, can they coexist thing? It needs to end like a decade ago. Like, really, every time somebody's in a match, they had two big can they coexist actually this whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, Seth and Cody. But see, here's the thing about Seth and Cody. At least that makes a little bit more sense than Charlotte and Becky.
Not even that. Is Randy Orton coming and can he coexist with Jey Uso?
Well, technically there's three then because they had the Seth and Cody shit too.
Yeah, that shit was dumb. dumb as hell. But like I said, uh, back to the women's match. I've noticed that quite a lot of the women's match was actually again it was pretty good. It's just they kept doing the Becky and Charlotte thing, which was can they coexist? And by like the middle of that shit, I was like, okay, guys, you guys got to stop.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It felt unwarranted because they haven't been on the same brand in like 4 years.
Exactly. Well, it's because they're real life falling out, which is like, okay, you guys had a real life falling out. That's fine, but we don't need to see this. Know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. I thought it was worthless. Can they coexist? I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah. I'd say that match was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna say.
The match was better than the men's.
Yeah. The next match on the pay-per-view was Gunther versus The Miz. And if you really honestly thought Gunther was going to lose that match, which people was actually thinking, it was the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, do you really honestly think Gunther is gonna lose the belt?
Yes, I thought he was, man. They had me with the Miz, man.
The Miz.
Yes.
Of all people to take the title.
A future Hall of Famer, man. He's a multi-time champion. I thought Gunther was done, man. They had me, man.
Yeah, they would have demoralized the belt had the Miz won that. And people would have been fucking pissed.
It's the Miz, man. He's the most must-see superstar of all time.
Okay. I completely understand that part. But you know.
He's like he is the creme a la creme. The greatest wrestler of all time. He
is not even close to the greatest wrestler of all time. He's closer to one of the greatest mic skills, but other than that, the Miz it was just pointless. The match was okay, and Gunther did make the Miz look like $1 million, but no.
Miz should have won the match.
Stop it.
The Miz should have won the match. I am certain of this.
We got Gunther. I mean, not Gunther.
Santos. A guy standing up.
Huh?
Died on the game.
We got Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee in a what's the type of match? A match that didn't even really need to happen match. I don't know if you've seen it.
Which one?
Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee.
I mean, it could have been better. It was like a TV match in the third hour.
Exactly. It was a TV match. It was pointless, and the original match that was supposed to happen didn't happen. So by the time this match even came out, I literally got up and sat back down, and the match was over. Like it was that weird. We got Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark in another TV match. To me, the match was pointless and boring. I got bored halfway through it, got up, got back down, and yeah, it was over.
Mommy's always on top, man.
Yeah, literally. I feel like they need to take that belt from her.
No.
Are you sure?
And give it to who?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Probably Zoe Stark?
No. Zoe.
Wait, who has the other belt?
Io.
Did you just fart, bro?
Hey, man.
Ew. You said Io has the belt, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was just making sure. I was just triple checking. I was confused. Okay. So now we move on to
But why Zoe though, man? She's not over.
I know, I'm just joking. We have
the Nia Jax. That's who we should give it to.
I will have Nia Jax get the belt ever if she can do one thing: not injure her opponent.
She hasn't injured no one yet, man.
As far as we know. Anywho.
She's been on the best.
I don't believe that shit. Anywho. We have the men's War Games match, which was Actually, a match, one of the only two matches this night that I actively paid full attention to, which was obviously the women's money War Games match, and this match was the only matches that I actually was like actively paying attention to. The rest of them I could care less because the results were very obvious. So by the time I got to those matches, I was just like, oh, this is stupid. I mean, because I would have given Damage Control the win, but apparently both the face teams won the matches, which was weird to me. But I mean, I guess we live in a world where a lot of the faces could win, and the
It's funny
heels.
how we have like these factions
Hmm.
that have been teaming and been together for like forever,
Hmm.
and they lose to a group of nobodies.
Exactly. That's weird, right?
It's always been weird.
Yeah. Um, I did want to talk about some things on this men's match. While I thought it was a great match overall, there's just some things that I genuinely want to go over. Like Drew McIntyre, I'm pretty positive it's very confusing on his stance of before. It was like before, are you with Judgment Day or are you just trying to get Jey Uso?
He's trying to get Jey Uso
So then I wouldn't join with the Judgment Day. I would have just went
because,
after Jey Uso.
well, he wants to get Jey Uso in a cage.
Okay.
And
What
the only way he can do that is with mommy.
Okay, so it still doesn't add up. It's just like, dude, you want Jey Uso. You wanted Jey Uso. You had him on Raw. You want to keep going after Jey Uso. I mean,
Yeah.
SmackDown. I'm sorry. You had him on SmackDown. You beat his ass on SmackDown. You prevented him from winning the tag team champions again. You did so much at this point.
Because the
And,
bloodline, man, there's so much to him. He's not finished, man.
okay, cool. Why aren't you going after the bloodline? You keep going after one dude that was in the bloodline
Because
who's no longer in there.
brand split exists, man.
I know, but oh man, I'm on SmackDown. Uh Let me go ahead and just invade Raw and destroy the rest of the bloodline.
Because, man, they're trying to make him more of a heel. A
Okay,
heel that makes sense, but a heel. And
I mean, yeah, I get it, and I understand. And he's mad that he lost the War Games match and all that stuff, and I like the story he told in the War Games match, which is pretty freaking cool. He finally got out and he went right after Jey Uso, and Jey Uso did the shirt thing at him, and it was pretty cool. It was entertaining, but I was just like, wait, Drew, why are you still? I think you're going a little OC with going after this man. It just doesn't work after a minute.
well, I think it's the way of trying to get him to be booed as a heel. They're trying to make it where he's more of a, I guess you say, a crybaby, as opposed to just someone who's pissed off.
Which is better if he was just pissed off. I feel like if
Well,
he was
if he's just pissed, well, the thing is with the character, they're trying to draw the lines between heel and babyface with him,
yeah,
but they're obviously this is WWE, so we can't have tweeners in this company for too long. So
but
he's
Randy
going to lean
Orton,
towards more of the heel side. So to make him more heel to boo, they're putting the it makes sense aspect of him being angry and upset and this, that, and the third. But they're
yeah,
also going to take the entitled someone who thinks he's entitled to something, also a little bit of complaining and crying about it, basically to a point where it'll get him to be booed because people are tired of him complaining and crying about it, even though it's justified. But it's like you've been doing this for so long at this point. Why are we still doing this?
that and like he went after Roman. He went after Seth Rollins and headbutt Seth Rollins. By the way, injuring himself, giving himself a cut
Yeah,
because Jey
he hit the
Uso's
belt.
next. You said what?
Cause he hit the belt
Okay.
when he hit Rollins.
Yeah, I got you. Understandable.
He never actually headbutts people like legit. He
Oh,
elbows. And
Yeah, I know.
unfortunately, that's what Rollins' belt was.
Yeah, I completely understand, and it makes sense. I just didn't see what he hit his head on. I was like, my guy, why are you bleeding?
Yeah, he smacked the shit out of that belt.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, of course I already know he doesn't really headbutt. It wouldn't make that noise, and people would not be getting up off of a headbutt. Like realistically, it's a headbutt. But as my dad would say, why you always watch this stuff? None of this realistic. I'm like, I know, Dad. I still love it though because it's entertainment.
When they
Anywho,
say that, ask why do you watch movies? That's
yeah,
not realistic either.
yeah. I actually kind of say that. Why do you watch anime? Why do you watch movies? It's all entertaining. Okay, cool. Anybody that watches like any type of Real Housewives or whatever, I'd be like, oh, yeah, you watch Real Housewives. At least that's real. No, it's just rich people complaining in front of a
No,
camera
it's
about
all
nothing.
scripted.
Exactly. Anywho, um, but yeah, the aspect of Drew McIntyre is actually starting to kind of get a little confusing to me. It's almost like, dude, you are obsessing over this group or over this one dude to the point where it's starting to not make you logical in certain situations. But okay. Because if I was Drew McIntyre, I would not have been like, I'm gonna join the Judgment Day, their group, and interfere with their plans just to get at this one dude when I can just get at this one dude, or go after the dude that actually attacked me during my match.
Which Solo
Solo.
Sikoa.
Exactly. Jey Uso, yes, he prevented a lot of people, or he helped prevent a lot of people, but Solo was the one that attacked him during the match. So why is he putting most of his blame on Solo on Jay instead of Solo?
Because Jay is a babyface and he's a heel. Drew McIntyre.
Makes sense. You're right. It's just like, dude, come on, bro. You can't be this dumb. But apparently, sometimes you got to get somebody being stupid for them to be smart. I guess. Um, but yeah, the other story in that match was the coexistence of Cody and Seth, and that was weird throughout the match. And it's Randy Orton coming. It's Randy Orton coming. I'm like, guys, relax. Randy Orton's obviously coming. He's not going to leave you guys in the lurch. Even Jey Uso, was thinking he's probably not going to come because of him. I was like, that's fine. It's just cool. But, can you guys be less obvious with it? Because you advertise Randy Orton. Because it'd be real stupid if Randy Orton didn't appear. You get a lot of people booing their asses off. Trust me.
Randy Orton, man. Jacked.
Yes. I was actually going to get to him next. But before that, I was going to say JD McDonough is literally the men's punching bag. What the hell is going on here?
Hey, man, that's his spot.
All right.
He came
But,
in.
yeah.
Ooh! Ah! Ah! Yeah!
Oh my god. But on the opposite end, Randy Orton, like I said, he as soon as his joint appeared, I thought he was gonna walk slow. This man walked at a brisk pace, and he looked like he was freaking lifting weights since he since he got on injury, which is great. I was just like, yo, what the hell?
Man, like The Rock.
Yeah, I was like, yo, you jacked as hell. And I was like, oh, I get what was happening. Your wife kept RKOing you in the pool. I understand it.
Hey, man.
He started building the resistance to his neck and his upper body strength. So when she catches him with an RKO, he can counter the RKO.
Don't worry, he's gonna fight Bobby Lashley and counter the Hurt Lock.
Exactly. So he had his wife RKO him in the pool for training purposes. He kept RKOing his son. It's just he was doing a bunch of stuff. I was like, that makes more sense than if they try to lie to me on any wrestling stuff. But it makes more sense to Drew McIntyre. That's all.
Hey, man. Big Daddy Drew.
Yeah, Daddy's back. Anywho, yeah. But yeah, as soon as Randy Orton came out, though, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of confused me with some of them noises he was making. Oh, what the hell?
Hey, man. Ooh! Ah! Ah!
I was just like, Randy, what are you doing, son?
He's hype.
Hey, he hyped the crowd. He did hype the crowd. Yes, he hyped it like shit. But yeah, Randy Orton returning during that situation was great. And then the match pretty much ended soon after he returned, which was actually pretty cool. The cash in was really stupid. The attempted cash in was really dumb. I don't know if the Judgment Day ever thought that through.
Think they're shooting you.
You said what?
No, I'm saying something to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, the cash in at that moment, that I don't think they thought that through. Why are you cashing in with there? There was so many factors in that match. I'd say about 9 other factors that could have fucked you over.
I mean,
Include
given where everyone was, it made sense because Rollins was down, Cody, like everyone was down.
yeah,
So at that moment, it made sense.
yeah,
But
it made sense.
Randy Orton
2
said,
seconds.
"Fuck that."
Yeah, Randy Orton is one of the people. Every other participant in that match is a factor of you didn't think it through, did you? So prime example, say he was able to cash it in, but as soon as he attempted to cash it in, Cody Rhodes just came out of nowhere and like freaking caught him with a crossroads.
No, what would have been interesting is if he cashed it in. That makes the title, the match itself, a title match. So whoever pins Rollins would have became champion. Could you imagine the tension then?
That would have been fine. That would have been fine. I would
I
not
mean,
have cared.
that's what it would have to be. It would have to be
Yeah.
that it would, because it's not a one-on-one match.
Yeah.
So basically, if Dominic Mysterio had pinned Rollins, Dominic would have won the championship
and the match. But at the same time, it's like you guys didn't really like your plan. While it was great for a second, it just wasn't well put together. There's so many factors. Now, mind you, I'm not a writer, and I'm not a wrestling writer. I just would not have done it at that time. No matter like what the fuck. No matter what happened,
if I was Damian Priest, I'd have probably done it after the match if we had won.
Exactly. Yeah, like especially after we won, had everyone beat him down, hold him down, and then cash it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if we won, but like not during a match, and where, oh my god, I'm about to get the pin. Oh, curb stop from Jey Uso or something. I'm like, no, son, just no. I would have waited. But at the very end, we got CM Punk coming, and CM Punk was great.
There for over 2 seconds. That promo, well, it wasn't a bad promo, but it wasn't a Punk promo, I should say.
Yeah. What did you feel when he came out? Do you think he should have came out earlier in the night, or was it?
No, perfectly fine. Because it was a legit surprise. Because they did the whole NXT thing, and they did it even longer than this one.
Yeah.
They zoomed the camera out and everything as if showed fade to black, and then boom. So I mean, him coming the way he came out was. You couldn't have booked that any more perfect, in my opinion.
Okay. Don't you think it kind of overshadowed Randy Orton's situation?
Yes and no. I think by having, because if you had brought him out early in the night,
yeah,
the show would have probably been hijacked anyway.
Yeah.
By bringing him out at the very end, the matches all went through. Everyone had their moments. And you give the fans, something to look forward to on Monday night. You bring them out earlier, because at that point, no one cares about the rest of the show.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you're right. And the Seth Rollins thing, that was pretty hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's a work though.
Yeah.
I just like putting the man Punk ain't been back 2 seconds and then
yeah. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, it's going to be a good match. We'll speak of Punk in a moment. But yeah, other than that, War Games was okay. Let's talk about Randy Orton. Randy Orton, it's in the same spot as Drew McIntyre.
You said
Jey
what?
Uso. Said Randy Orton. Talk about Randy Orton now. So he was in the same spot as, Drew McIntyre. The bloodline screwed him over on the situation. And he went logical with it. He said, "Are you still with the bloodline? No? Okay, cool. We're good."
Because Rand's a
I'm
babyface, sir. I wouldn't forgive Jey Uso. Fuck that dude. Because here's the thing about Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, right?
Uh-huh.
In reality,
Mhm.
Jey Uso had nothing to do with the Drew match. Nothing. He wasn't even out there. Remember the bloodline was I think banned from ringside, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So in reality, Jey Uso had nothing to do with the Drew McIntyre match. However, when it comes to Orton, Jey Uso was involved with putting out Orton.
Oh yeah, he was.
So, in some sense, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense why Drew is that. I mean, I know, leading up to the match, Jey Uso attacked Drew McIntyre and all that shit. But in the essence of the match, technically speaking, Jey Uso wasn't even there. So it kind of doesn't even make sense why he's going after Jey Uso for his match. Now, he could just be going after Jey Uso as you must pay the sins of your family.
Which is not something that.
But it's fine. He has to, because I mean, again, he has attacked Drew McIntyre and all that stuff before. When it comes to Orton, however, though, Jey Uso was doing the ones and actively beating his ass when he got taken out. So I think Orton forgiving him is, whatever. But again, this is how WWE booked their baby faces and their heels.
They book
Drew's a justified heel, but a heel.
Just about against the wrong person. Randy Orton's a baby face. Sometimes he does. It doesn't matter with Randy Orton to me. Actually, for me, Randy Orton does what he feels like he wants to do. He literally will RKO everybody. Like he RKOs are for everybody. Rated E for everyone. That's what RKO stands for.
Why am I in a boss fight?
It's just when it comes to their situations, why is Randy Orton more like, okay, I'm going after the main person and the main group? Drew McIntyre's like, going after Jey Uso, the guy who didn't.
In kayfabe, Orton is a free agent, so he can technically has the opportunity to.
He actually signed with SmackDown on SmackDown.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before then. Like before he signed, he was a free agent.
Yeah,
so he had the opportunity to go after, Roman and Solo and Jay. I mean, not Jay. Jimmy. Drew McIntyre doesn't have the opportunity. He's a Raw superstar.
True.
And he's just pissed off. So he's taking out his frustrations on Jimmy, on Jey Uso. Which, again, like I said, it makes sense. It's just, ultimately, he's a heel. So he has to go after the one bloodline member as a babyface.
True.
So that's just how that, that's how that cookie crumbles, basically. Do I like it? I mean, like I said, it makes sense. He's justifying his anger, so
he's justifying his anger. It's just why keep going after the wrong people? Like
he can't go after anyone else.
I've seen people leave and go to the opposite brand.
Yeah, you're right.
Times.
You're right, but they're heels, and Drew's a babyface. So I mean,
I got you. I got what you're saying.
Yeah. They're heels, so and they're trying. In some ways, they're trying to uphold the brand split, I guess. I mean, they do a poor job at it most of the time, but I guess they can say they're trying. So if they're trying, then who am I to say no effort?
Yeah,
they're trying.
Um, which is fine. Next, CM Punk. Now, ooh, CM Punk. Now, for me personally, I didn't expect to see him in a good while, but considering that he's here, I hope and pray to God that there is something in place to prevent him from his ego going past the roof and causing another backstage situation. What is your opinion on it?
Um, I don't think Punk is going to do anything like that in WWE.
Hmm.
I think he knows that the locker room won't take that shit.
Hmm.
He knows in WWE they don't need him.
Hmm.
In fact, he's just a cog in the machine. Um, I think what the Punk you saw at the end, so like towards the end of AEW or his AEW run,
Yeah.
I don't think you see that Punk at all
All
because
right.
in AEW he was like the head honcho, and and it's not all his fault. It's
Yeah.
not all his fault.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
WWE's a little bit more structured, more mature in the locker room. And Punk knows that this is his last shot. This is
Yeah.
it for Punk. If he
Yeah.
fucks this run up, his career will go down as his ending. The ending of his career will go down as an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And I don't think Punk wants that at all. So I think honestly, what makes it worse is that I think he's just there for the check, possibly.
Because he said
So
that. He said that on his paper in his joint. I'm not here to
yeah,
make friends. I'm here to make money. And I'm like, oops.
well, not just that. I'm talking about like even in like attitude for
Yeah.
promo. Like
Yeah.
he's just. It's like when you're playing a video game
Yeah.
just because you're bored. You have no investment into the game. You don't really give a shit. You're just it's like going to work every day. You'll do your job and you'll do it well.
Hmm.
But if you look in the eyes, they're dead inside. And you're not, instead of being 100%, you're going like at 70 or 60%.
Yeah. I get it. I get you. I get you. Which is, like I said, I feel like if he can't, there's certain things that Punk can't do this time, though. I hope he at least takes it seriously. I hope he's just not immediately ousted into the match with Roman Reigns, which would be very goddamn
No,
stupid.
I'm sorry. I don't care about that match at all.
Yeah, it'd be very
With
stupid.
or without the belt. I don't care about Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. I don't.
Yeah, no one cares. But then they talk about him versus Stone Cold. I was like, no, that's not a dream match in the slightest. Who wants that? Apparently, people want the Roman Reigns versus, I mean, not Roman Reigns, Stone Cold versus CM Punk. And I'm like, I mean, with Stone Cold was wrestling, yes, people would have loved that match. Stone Cold's not wrestling anymore. So, that'd be real stupid, don't you think? But yeah. Um, but I was even talking with the other two on that's on this podcast with Galactic and Kaido, and they apparently Galactic thinks that CM Punk should go after the belt and win the belt from Roman Reigns, and I was like,
No.
then they would have wasted our year and some change with Cody. They've been building Cody up for this. And if Cody doesn't win at WrestleMania, or it's not Cody versus him at WrestleMania, then that match will be stupid. Then I'll be like, how
Why
the
does
fuck
he
does
want
CM?
Punk to beat Roman?
I don't know. He just thinks CM Punk is going to be the one to go after Roman. I was like, CM Punk. It's better if CM Punk went at WrestleMania, went after Seth Rollins, but not no goddamn CM Punk automatically versus Roman Reigns. And CM Punk, and if it was me, one of the things I would have done, to be completely honest, is at the Royal Rumble, have CM Punk come out at number one. That's when I would have had him return. But that's just me.
I mean, a lot of people think the Royal Rumble would have been a better place for it.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I think either place would have been fine, but the pop in Chicago.
The pop in Chicago was great.
will always
But
be, but see, it'll be bigger than the Royal Rumble, honestly, because it's Chicago. And where's the Royal
yeah,
Rumble this year? Tropicana
I
Field, I think.
Royal Rumble is in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's not too far. So
yeah. I mean, it'd have been
no,
fine. The Royal Rumble,
oops,
it'd
my
have
bad,
been
my bad.
shocked.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
But
I
I
do
think the
completely understand.
longer, I think the longer you held off on Punk,
Yeah,
the quicker they got leaked,
yeah,
and it wouldn't be a surprise anymore.
that is true. But the venue for the Royal Rumble is bigger though. So
It's bigger,
imagine.
but bigger doesn't always mean better reactions.
I know, I know, but versus the Allstate Arena, though versus
It's Chicago,
the
man.
Tucker in the field, I would have freaking said, "Hey yo, let me go ahead and have this
But then
happen."
if it gets leaked out, then it's pointless.
Yeah, but
Because
a lot of people
everyone,
didn't know.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, see, the thing is with the Punk thing, a lot of people had an idea maybe it could happen, but you
Hmm.
didn't know. And the way they play it up, you still didn't really know. Like you didn't know he was going to come out. Especially when the show ended, no one knew because they kept it close to the vest. You can't keep something that close, unless you literally don't sign him or do anything until Royal Rumble.
Yeah, which is fine. I still would have had. I would have said, like, I even brought this idea. I would have had this man come out. I would have had him appear, or the number one slot been taken up already. Still did the thing with the raffle, and then next thing you know, as soon as number one hits, or after they explain the rules, his music hits, and you just see him come out, raising his hand and everything.
I mean, that'd have been
Like,
fine too. Like I said, either way would have been fine.
yeah,
But
I
I can
get
see
you.
why they chose Chicago or chose to do it quickly because they didn't want spoilers
Yeah,
about leaks.
and you're right. I completely understand why they did it in his hometown and quick as hell. He's already there. It's all a bunch of stuff. Um, it's just that's just me. And as I said to them, I was like, if Cody Rhodes or CM Punk enters the Royal Rumble, you already know they're going to win the Royal Rumble. It's actual matter of fact at this point
Yeah,
because
I don't want Cody to win, but yeah,
he's going to win. And the problem is though, Cody has to kind of not enter at number 1 or 2. I mean, not. I mean, 30, 30. He can't enter at number 30 or the late 20s. That would be so stupid. And then, like, if CM Punk enters the Royal Rumble, he can't enter at the same number, or everybody in the room is going to be like, "Bruh, are you serious? Clearly, this person's going to win." You know what I mean?
I don't know, it's a toss up. I mean, they could. I don't know how. I mean, I think Cody wins, but they could have Punk win.
Yeah,
I mean, either Punk wins the Rumble or Punk wins the Chamber. If he's facing Rollins at Mania.
yeah. If he wins the Chamber, I'd be fine with it, but I wouldn't have Punk win the Royal Rumble. Honestly, I wouldn't even have Cody Rhodes waste his time with the Royal Rumble. It just doesn't seem right.
Well, he has no choice if he wants to get the Roman,
Yeah,
since he didn't get traded.
true.
They're pretty much telling you he's winning the Royal Rumble, but it's like I feel like the thing is, I feel like with Punk coming back,
Yeah,
they kind of fucked up Gunther winning the Rumble
yeah,
or potentially winning the Rumble and facing Rollins. Dropping the IC belt at some time or even going to WrestleMania as IC champ
yeah.
and facing Rollins and beating Rollins, because obviously that's the match for me. I would have Gunther beat Rollins World Championship,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
what I want isn't always what I'll get. So
Yeah. All right. And last thing, besides the fact that CM Punk, I'm like I said, I'm still afraid for CM Punk, but we'll see. What do you think is going to be the possible future of wrestling now that CM Punk and Randy Orton is back, and some of the things that are happening in wrestling?
the same shit has been happening when they were gone.
Ah!
I mean, WWE in terms of attendance and all of that, they are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Uh, but AEW looks like shit. But I mean, they're fine in terms of the pay-per-views. So I
My
mean,
problem with AEW is Tony Khan at this point. Tony Khan, I don't know if you've recently seen this man, but I feel like he really needs to keep WWE's name out his fucking mouth. He needs to calm down. He needs to relax. He needs to control his company. What the hell's going on with fucking Ric Flair, by the way?
good old Rick.
Hey, Ric Flair is how about say, if I leave, I'm gonna embarrass the company. And I'm like, dude.
No, he's saying if he was an embarrassed, because he had a promo
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people complained, and he's saying if they think he's an embarrassment, or if AEW think he's an embarrassment, he'll walk away because he's not doing it for money, as he says.
Oh.
He's not doing it for the money. He's doing it because he wants to just have fun. But they edited out his promo recently, so it was like,
oh, okay. Okay, I was making sure. But like I said, he needs to get in control of his company and not focus on uh WWE in the slightest. I feel like he needs to focus on he needs to focus on everything that the totality of his company, because I feel like every time something happens, he's always focused on he always looks at WWE. He'll tweet about WWE, and I'm like, my guy, what in the world does WWE have to do with anything?
well,
Oh,
he will always. I think he tries not to, but it's hard. You know, I think it's hard to not do that for him, just given the
it's
nature of his, what he's doing.
it's weird because it's like, dude, yes, they had it on this day. Why? And you had Collision on this day. Yes, you want Collision to compete. It's not WWE's fault that you decided Collision is Saturdays. So when they have their pay-per-views on Saturdays, they're beating you because they're major pay-per, like the big four pay-per-views.
Well, WWE did that shit to counter AEW because they didn't do pay-per-views on Saturdays until eight. You gotta remember, AEW was the only ones doing pay-per-views on Saturdays.
Yeah, and
And
NXT.
WWE was on Sundays.
Yeah.
WWE said, "Fuck it, we'll do our pay-per-views on Saturdays as well." And that
Yeah.
fucked them. That fucked AEW, I should say. And then Collision happens, and it's like, well, where else can you go? You can't go Mondays. You can't do Tuesdays. I don't. Wednesdays is Dynamite. I think Thursdays is probably some other sports or something for that channel. Friday is SmackDown. I mean, you could have done Thursday Night Collision probably, but they opted for Saturday, which is hurting them ish. So,
Like I said, man, it's their own. It it just makes me a little annoyed sometimes when. Wait, what? It makes me a little annoyed when sometimes it just he just keeps talking about WWE and all this stuff and how they're doing this and that. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna WCW yourself. I swear to God, just leave it alone. Call it a day. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
it's Tony Khan, man. I don't know. It's Tony Khan.
And as you said, right? He needs to get control of his company. He needs to focus and control his company. He needs to not have his company be doing dumb
Well,
stuff.
right now they're dealing with identity crisis. They don't know who they want to be and what they want to be.
What? Why do you say that?
One half is like sports entertainment, the other half is pro wrestling, one half is WWE Light, one half is the alternative. They need to find out what the fuck his company's going to be.
Honestly, I'd focus on wrestling with big hints of entertainment.
I would just be the alternative like they was when they first started. Because right now it's almost looking like WWE Light at times.
Yeah, they're getting too many fucking people.
It's not even the people, it's just overall feel of the shows.
I didn't notice. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the stuff now. Like I said, man, this man. I hope Tony Khan, to keep his stuff. I hope and pray to God he just goes. He sits down. Somebody sits down with him and says, "Why are you looking at what WWE is doing? Where you have a whole roster of people, and you need to do a lot of stuff for a lot of your people who you're not doing anything with." You know, oops. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
but
you have
that's
a
time.
roster of people, and you fucked up some of the storylines. You need to chill. Oof. Hey, is Charlotte and what's his name still married?
I don't know, dude. I don't pay attention to fucking Charlotte Flair.
Oh God. Let me triple check that because I could have sworn they broke up, but apparently no, they didn't.
I don't think so. They
Oh
mention
shit.
each other on Twitter, I think, but I don't know. I don't really pay attention to either one of them.
I still wonder how that relationship even happens because it looks like one can barely speak English and one can speak English.
I mean, shit. I mean, you speak enough.
Hey. All right. That being said, is there anything else you want to talk about in the wrestling world before the next week where we're talking about a lot of games?
I got nothing.
All right. Well then, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everyone's time. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Bye bye. No,
I also gotta make an ending. I gotta make an ending. There's gonna be an ending at some point. I keep forgetting to make it. Oh well, I'll just use the opening clip again. Bye everybody.